Jesus encountered many people during his ministry. He met people from all walks of life. Yet, there's one encounter that stands out. It's the story of a man with leprosy. This man's life was a picture of despair. Leprosy in those days wasn't just a disease, it was a curse. It meant being ostracized, being labeled unclean, being cut off from society and even family. The Gospel of Mark tells us that this man approached Jesus. Can you imagine his desperation? He fell on his face. He cried out, "If you are willing, you can make me clean." These words echo through the ages. They speak of a deep longing for healing, for wholeness, but they also whisper of doubt. If you are willing. The man's doubt wasn't about Jesus' power. He had seen the miracles. He had heard the stories. His doubt was about Jesus' willingness to heal him. Would the Son of God, the Holy One of Israel, even want to touch someone as unclean as him? Would he be willing to reach down into his darkness and pull him out? We often limit God with our human understanding. We look at our situations and see impossibilities. We see our flaws and deem ourselves unworthy. We let doubt creep in and whisper, "What if he's not willing?" This is where we miss the heart of God. He is a God of compassion. He is moved by our pain. He is drawn to our weaknesses. When we come to him, broken and desperate, he doesn't turn away. He doesn't see us as a problem to be solved. He sees us as children who need their father. The leper's question, "If you are willing," reveals a common misconception. We think God's blessings are based on our worthiness. We think we need to clean ourselves up before we approach him. We think we need to earn his favor. But the truth is, God's love isn't earned. It's given freely. His grace isn't a reward for good behavior. It's a gift for the undeserving. He doesn't wait for us to be perfect. He meets us right where we are. Many of us live under a shadow of unworthiness. We carry the weight of past mistakes. We listen to the lies of the enemy that tell us we're not good enough. We allow shame to keep us from experiencing the fullness of God's love. But Jesus came to set us free from those lies. He came to break the power of shame and guilt. He came to remind us that we are loved, not because of who we are, but because of who he is. The leper's story is a powerful reminder that God's willingness to heal and bless us is not hindered by our past, our mistakes, or our perceived unworthiness. His love is bigger than our doubts. His grace is greater than our failures. His mercy is new every morning. We may not face leprosy like the man in the Bible, but we all face our own battles. We face sickness, financial struggles, broken relationships, and emotional pain. We carry burdens that weigh us down and make us question God's goodness. In these moments, we become modern-day lepers. We cry out, "If you are willing, you can heal me. If you are willing, you can provide. If you are willing, you can restore." But just like the leper, we need to move beyond the if. We need to trust in God's unwavering willingness to help us. We need to remember that he is the same yesterday, today, and forever. God is not a distant observer. He is intimately involved in our lives. He is a constant gardener, tending to our hearts, nurturing our souls, and pruning away the things that hinder our growth. He sees our pain, he hears our cries, and he is moved with compassion to act on our behalf. He may not always answer our prayers in the way we expect, but we can be sure that he always answers in the way that is best for us. Sometimes his answer is a resounding yes. He pours out his blessings in abundance, exceeding our wildest expectations. Other times, his answer is a gentle wait. He is working behind the scenes, preparing us for something greater than we could ever imagine. And sometimes, his answer is a loving no. He sees the bigger picture. He knows what we need even when we don't. He protects us from harm. He redirects our steps. He uses every situation, even the difficult ones, to draw us closer to himself. The key is to trust in his goodness, even when we don't understand his ways. To surrender our will to his and believe that he is working all things together for our good. God's willingness to bless us is not a reward for our faithfulness. It is a gift of his grace. We don't earn it, we don't deserve it, we simply receive it with open hands and grateful hearts. The leper's story teaches us that receiving God's blessings requires humility and faith. Humility to acknowledge our need for him. Faith to believe that he is willing and able to help us. When we approach God with open hands and open hearts, we create space for him to move in our lives. We allow him to heal our brokenness, to mend our wounds, and to restore our joy. We don't have to beg God for his blessings. He is a good father who delights in giving good gifts to his children. All we need to do is ask, believing that he is willing and able to provide. The leper's story is not just a story of healing, it's a story of hope. It reminds us that God sees us, He hears us, and He cares about what concerns us. We may feel lost and alone in our struggles, but God never forgets us. He is always with us, carrying us through the storms and leading us to a place of peace. He remembers our tears, He remembers our pain, and He remembers His promises. He has promised to never leave us nor forsake us. He has promised to work all things together for our good, and He has promised to give us hope and a future. The story of the leper is a testament to God's willingness to reach down into our darkness and pull us into His marvelous light. It is a reminder that no matter how broken, unworthy, or unlovable we may feel, God's love for us is unwavering, and His grace is always sufficient. Let us therefore approach Him with boldness, knowing that He is willing and able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine. Let us cast our cares upon Him, for He cares for us. And let us live each day with the confident assurance that we are loved, healed, and made whole by the power of His amazing grace. The leper's plea, "If you are willing, you can make me clean," echoes through the ages, reminding us of the transformative power of faith and the boundless compassion of our Savior. It is a call to surrender our doubts, to embrace His grace, and to live in the fullness of His healing and love. Let us, like the leper, approach the throne of grace with boldness, knowing that our God is a God who heals, restores, and makes all things new.